let's talk to Muji. Let's talk to Muji, who's calling from Europe. Want to do that?
Go on then. Let's talk to Muji. Muji, are you with us? Muji.
Muji, you're live on Talk Heathen. What's going on?
Hello.
Hello. Do you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Yes, thank you. I would like to say I'm a former atheist that I converted to Islam, and I didn't convert to Islam because God exists. I converted to Islam because I realized that Islam has, fixed the problems we had in the past, and it's going to fix our problems that we have today and in the future as well. But I would like to say, if God doesn't, or the religion doesn't, solve our problems anymore, or cannot solve our problems anymore, then I believe myself that no, we don't need God or religion. But because I see that we have a lot of problems in the world, and I believe that the only way out of all our problems is Islam. That's why I have converted to Islam. For example, Islam has solved problems in the past, like Arab Bedouins were burning their daughters alive, and Islam forbid it and stopped it. So there are many other problems that religion, Abrahamic religion especially, solved. So what do you think that if a religion can solve our problems that we face today, like prostitution, drugs, poverty, war, and all these problems, that we cannot solve them ourselves? If a religion can solve them, or God can solve them, shouldn't we follow that religion or the God that says that follow me, I will guide you to the right path?
I think religion can solve people's problems. Hot take. I do. I think it can give you a sense of life purpose. I think it can give you a sense of community. I think it can give you a sense of place in the world, right? Like I do think it can solve a lot of these things, but that's separate from the question of whether or not it's true, right? I could be part of an MLM, and an MLM may give me, some financial prospects for a little bit, or maybe it gives me some connections, or maybe helps me in some part of my career. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's a predatory scheme that doesn't help a lot of other people, right? It may work for me, may not work for others. So like that kind of, this idea that Islam solves all world problems, I think is a bit naive. I don't think it does. And I also think it's separate from the question of whether or not the claims of Islam are true. So that's my initial take. Yeah.
Yes, actually, I think that rationality says that, for example, I don't believe that Buddha was God, or I don't think even followers of Buddha believe that he was God. But Buddha has some good teachings. So if I see them that they are nice, so I don't think that I should say, no, I'm not going to follow because he wasn't God or he wasn't prophet of God. I would follow that. Or even a politician who says that I can, change the economy or fix the economy of the country. I don't see any problem to vote for that, politician. So I don't see any problem that I shouldn't follow, for example, Islam, for example, just because I don't believe God exists, or I don't believe that Prophet Muhammad was really prophet of God. So that, of course, comes next, that if really Islam can solve all problems, which I can explain for you, and you can, we can discuss about that.
Before we do that, let's take it one thing at a time. Richard, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, I'm interested in Muji. I've got one very, very simple question for you. Do you care about what is true?
Okay, what do you mean? What is true? That God exists or doesn't exist? You mean?
What can be? Do you care about what can be demonstrated as true or likely true? Are you happy to believe something that you do not know is true because it facilitates something that you think that works? It might look like it works. It might look like it can solve problems, but you don't know whether it's actually true or not. You have no belief that it is true. is it enough for you that it appears to have a function, or would you like to know whether it's actually true or not?
All right, okay. I understand now your question. But if I know that in fact that it works, okay, if I believe that it works and it's going to solve all of our problems, then why shouldn't I believe? And I know that it is a fact, which you haven't even asked me why I believe that it's going to solve all our problems on this planet. So if you asked me that and we were discussing that what is the solution?
Well, I'd kind of like an answer to the question I've asked first. I'm happy to go down that route, but I have just asked you a question, and I'd like that particular question answered, because it makes a difference. It makes a lot of difference, because if you're just happy to follow something because if its functionality and you don't care whether or not it is true, that can lead some people, and I'm not saying this would be the case with you, but it could lead some people to do bad things for the wrong reasons. So let's kind of just answer that question straight off. It's a simple yes or no question. Do you care about what is true or likely true?
Okay, I do care, exactly. And I think that it should be, everybody should care that what I believe in is true or is false. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem for us, because you could be right in that if everyone believed in Islam, the world would be a better place. But that doesn't change the fact that I don't believe, for example, Muhammad rode on a flying horse to the moon, or that Muhammad spoke to the angel of Gabriel and received direct knowledge of God, right? Those are specific historical claims that I can't accept as true, and is really going to affect how I believe in the rest of the stuff. You know what I mean? Because look, I could say, and I bring this up too. I talked about this on Friday, but like David Koresh from, the Waco massacre probably brought a lot of good things to the people that live there. I mean, there's a reason why so many people live with him. There may have been some stability. There may have been some opportunities for them to live out a life purpose. But I would argue that was really bad for them in the end. It may have given them the illusion of some comfort, but David Koresh was not the Messiah. I think both of you would agree with that. If unless you think otherwise, but I think most people would agree with that. So again, there's going to be differences in how we accept other claims versus if we understand, parts of the religion to be false, right?
All right. I have to say about as well. Previous caller said that Quran says the moon was split, but it is not the case at all. Or Prophet Muhammad fly on a horse. No, it is not. These are just fabricated stories in the hadiths. Quran doesn't say that at all. Okay, and I don't believe that myself. Anyway, I just yes. I just would like to say.
But sorry to interrupt you, Muji. You do believe? Yeah. Do you believe that Muhammad got divine inspiration from God?
Yes, I believe that.
Okay,
definitely.
So that's still a big one, right? Like that's still going to be a holdup. It doesn't have to be about flying horses over Jerusalem, but it could be something we have a problem with.
Yes. But I would like to actually. I want to spread the message of love, equality, and peace. That's why I'm trying to, make people to, even we have disagreements, but we can unite to solve our problems, common problems, or fight our common enemies as well. Okay,
that's an interesting. I'm so sorry to interrupt you again, Muji. That's an interesting prospect.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I want to fight for peace too. I want to fight for equality. Yeah. I want to fight for all of those things. I'm not a Muslim, right? So like
no problem.
we can also do these things without being Muslim, right? Like what? Yeah. Why do you have to be a Muslim? Why do you have to believe in Islam in order to solve these issues?
All right. Okay. So because I believe that the source of all problems we are facing on this planet is the capitalist system. Okay, and because everything happens in this world is because of this system. People want to sell drugs because they want to become rich. People produce tobacco and kill 5 million people because they want to become billionaires. People produce weapons and they create war, conflicts here, there because they want to sell their weapons. So all problems, according to Islam, all problems comes from the capitalist system. And Islam says that get rid of the system, live equal. That's the Islamic message. But if you follow, if you agree with me that the source of all problems is this satanic system, okay, the capitalist system, and we have to live equal in an equal world, and we have to share everything with each other, love one another. I promise you that Islam has no problem with you being atheist, and you will, if you fight.
Mujah, I'm having some difficulty with some of the things you're saying. First and foremost, the moon being split in two is not in the Quran, because it is. And it is also in the Hadith. It's in Sahih Bukhari, volume 5, book 58, number 208. It is in the Hadith. But it's also in Surah 54:1 of the Quran. So it is in the Quran.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. It is, first of all, it's not Sahih Bukhari. It is Trash Bukhari, because it has a lot of fabricated hadiths in his book, okay? And all extremist Muslims, they block me because I'm trying to prove them that they are wrong. These Bukhari.
Okay, so let me just interrupt you. Okay, Mujah, I need to interrupt you here now, because this has taken a whole turn I did not expect it to take.
Yeah.
So
this is awesome, though.
So we what we've got here now is a case that it is in Bukhari and it is in the Quran itself. But you disagree with other Muslims who think that that's the case. Now, without I don't wish this to sound rude in any way. I don't particularly care that you disagree with other Muslims. Take that up with other Muslims. You've called an atheist call-in show. If you want to talk to other Muslims, call a Muslim call-in show and discuss it with them. But I can tell you absolutely that it is in Bukhari, and I can tell you absolutely that it is in the Quran. So it is there. So I've kind of got a problem with you telling us that it isn't in the Quran. I've also got you've kind of gone down this line of, Islam says this and Islam says that and Islam says the other. But you've given us no reference to any of those things. And, not everybody is as familiar with the Quran as I am from an atheist perspective. And I'm not sure what Dan's kind of knowledge of the Quran is, but I kind of do this stuff. This is what I do at university. I do religion, philosophy, and ethics. That's what my degree is in. So I kind of look at different religions, and I enjoy doing so a lot. And I do a lot of independent research into that as well in my spare time, because I am a boring tit. But look, there's also something else you said, because I'm just going to throw all these things at you because you've got me on a roll now. And you said that, Islam has no problem with atheists being atheists. And that I've also got a bit of a problem with that, because although I agree that many atheists take kind of some of the verses of the Quran out of context. And I think they do, especially the verses about kind of, people who don't believe in things. I think they are taken out of context in a lot of cases. But the word for a non-believer in Arabic is kufr, or other words that are kind of derivative of that, the same root. And they mean specifically those who have read and understood the message and rejected it. So it's not just a case of people who don't believe. It is a specific term, which means people who have rejected that. And Islam absolutely has a problem with that. The Quran tells us explicitly that the kufr they will be judged by God in the hereafter. And it's not going to be a happy judgment. They're not going to be given candles and cakes and a little party. No, sir, either not. So although some of the interpretations given by atheists are a little bit, from my perspective, a little bit out there. I think some of the stuff you've said is outright, and I'm going to be rude because I think you deserve it on this occasion. Outright nonsense. And I think what we need to take from this call is that, you go away with your kind of with your Islamic friends, and you gather around in a little circle, and you sort out all your little beliefs between yourself. And when you've decided which is the correct interpretation amongst yourselves, give us another call back,